Hello there guys, Show here and welcome to our first episode of 100 Games with Show. So I came up with this idea as I like to build games in Minecraft, and I thought, why not create 100 mini games in Minecraft, show you how I approach them, and also challenge myself on creating more games and how I tackle those. So we are going on a journey throughout 100 mini games, and I definitely need your help on suggesting mini games which I can make. I have a few ideas for mini games, but I have not listed 100 mini games so far. And yeah, let's jump right into the first mini game. So the first mini game is one of the oldest games in history. It is rock, paper, scissor. You guessed it, it is rock, paper, scissor, or you're already seen the thumbnail. So this is the first game we are gonna make here in this kind of game world. So the rules are very simple. You have two players, you either pick one of those three, like rock or paper or scissor. And depending on what the other person picks, you win, you lose, or it's a draw. So how can we implement that in Minecraft? So I thought about it quite a while, and the solution I came up with is bit coding. Bit coding is one of the best ways to actually get something done here in Minecraft. So first of all, how many ways are there actually to, like, combinations? And in total there are 9 combinations which can occur, because you kind of have to think about what player A and what player B picks. So if we got 9 combinations, we need 9 different. So how to encode something in bit is rather simple. You kind of have those 6 inputs for player A and player B. Let's separate them by 1, and also let's do a bit of color here. So we have player A and player B, and they are separated. And then we just have the input back here. So the next thing is you just input the output. So if we got our lever, so if we have player A or player B picks, for example, a scissor, this torch would go off. And how can we now encode this kind of combination into an output like player A picked scissor and player B picked scissor, which would result in a draw? Which is kind of very simple with bit encoding, as we need kind of like 2 bits. So that's why we need 6 in total. So scissor and scissor on both sides would be 0 here and a 0. And now where we want to have the input registered, we just put a torch here, remove this torch and put that torch over here, so it actually can be turned off, but the other way. We need it to be powered on and not powered off like those are. And also here on this other side for player A, we just do the same here for the scissor. This is the third input here. And then we need another row up here, which is the result line. And this one is only powered if those 2 conditions, or let's say unpowered, if those 2 conditions are met. And in this case it would be a draw. So for example, we switch on the scissor here for player B and the scissor for player A, it's a draw. If it's something else, it would never turn on. Any other combination would never result in this outcome, because the torch is powering, like this is unpowered, then this is powered, and this up here is never unpowered, because we have switched it the other way. So now we have the first combination. What we have to do is just copy that 8 more times. There we go. We got our 9 combinations, possible combinations, and what we now have to do is just copy this here. So which slot should be registered. For this case, we just copy this one 2 more times. So we got 3 scissor inputs. Then we move 1 over for the paper. So we got 3 paper inputs, and the same for the stone. We got 3 more stone inputs. There we go. So player B is registered with his inputs. Now let's do the same with player A, but we have to do have to move 1 over, so it's always diagonal because it is scissor, scissor, then we have paper, scissor, then we have stone, scissor. And then the same over here. We got scissor, paper, we got paper, paper, and we got stone, paper. Then the last one, scissor, scissor, stone, we got paper, stone, and stone, stone. Alright, so we got our inputs registered. Let's just reset all the lamps so they are off. There we go. And now what we can do, we can just put up a pillar. I prepared some banners to actually signify what each column or what each row is in the end. So I got these banners here which signify if it's player A or player B, and if they win, lose, or if it's a draw. So this is player B and this is player A. So we got player B on scissor, 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 then we got paper, 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 and stone as well. So the first one would be a draw, of course, because both are picking scissor, so it would result in a draw. The second one is paper and a scissor, which the player B wins. So this is kind of like B's side, so all these outputs are for player B. Just do this so it's easier to see. The last one is player B loses because he picked scissor and the other one picked stone. Now we have paper, scissor, loses again. We got paper and paper, it's a draw. We got paper and stone, it's a win. Then we got paper, stone and scissor, win. Should be a loss and a draw. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So now we know what is what. Of course, you have to set up a wall in the middle so they don't see each other, and also I wouldn't use glass because then they know what the other person picked. Also, you could move it on the other side as well. Just have to like switch around the repeater for one player. So maybe you can have the player A here and the player B on the other side. Or if you want to have them next to each other, you can do it like this. Either way is fine. So what we also have to do, we kind of have to signify who actually won, who lost, and if it's a draw or not. So first we're gonna place a barrel with a redstone lamp and signify if it's a win, loss, or draw. Let's just move that up on the other side as well. And I believe we kind of have to move that now over to actually have space. So now the players kind of see if they lost and also have a score, because if they pick something like this, so this combination would result in the player B of winning and player A of losing, which should now indicate here player B wins and player A loses. So now we have the correct output. We just have to input it here. The easiest way to do this is with a dropper, a sticky piston, and a redstone block. What you have to do is, of course, do a reset afterwards, which you can do with locked hoppers below, and just a reset button here. Alright, and now what we have to do is just move all the rows, which I like to do with color-coded blocks to know what row is doing what. So let's quickly prepare that. So I switched the dropper with a crafter because we got like butt-powered issues with the dropper I experienced, as it is kind of like powering the air here, which is a bit weird. But this is not the case with the crafter. And so for example, if we do a draw like scissor, and now we have a gold ingot in there because I put gold nuggets in there which are crafted. Alright, the redstoning is done and dusted. We have a working rock, paper, scissor game. Love it. It's simple, it is small, it's a small design, and it's quite easy to build actually. So let's see this game in action. So let's just imagine there is a wall, they can't see each other. So I would pick paper and nothing is happening. So the other player is not seeing my input. I also don't know if he already inputted something. What you can do is you can create a timer, which is like with note blocks, it is counting down from 3 to 1, or you just do this in the voice chat and input together. So for example, I do paper, the player B is doing scissor, which result in me losing and player B on winning. And he got a score and I got a losing score as well, if you want to count it as well. Alright, then if we reset, it's immediately switched off. Wrong button, wrong lever. Wrong lever, trunk. Alright. Let's go for a second round. I'm going for stone, he's going for scissor again, which is my win and his loss. And the last one would be both of us picking the same input, which results in a draw. So this is a nice and tidy rock, paper, scissor game. I put a schematic of this build here in the description below. I might do a bit of refining it if you want to build it yourself, and I hope you all like this video. Also leave some suggestions for minigames. I'm gonna have to create 100 minigames. I try to stick with simple ones which you can play on a SMP server, for example, or you just do it for fun. Some minigames will be single players, some will be just 2 or multiplayers. I try to limit it to maybe 4 players at max, which would be more than that would be kind of hard. And there we go. Hope you liked it, and I see you in the next episode of 100 Games with Show. See ya.